Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm Ero Veloce, and I've had a lot of people asking me how I mounted my triple monitors because they're triple 48-inch OLEDs, so it's very difficult to find a monitor stand that checks all the boxes for most people's use cases. There are a couple on the market, but they're either not aluminum extrusion, which limits the flexibility of being able to make adjustments and mount other things to it, like lights, cameras, microphones, which is especially important for me as a content creator, or a quad monitor on top for things like Discord or streaming utilities and video recording utilities, or track information, whatever people might want to put. Unfortunately, that means the more budget-friendly Next Level Racing large format screen triple monitor stand wasn't going to work for me. There's also the advanced Simracing triple monitor stand that goes up to about 65-inch monitors or screens, give or take. And that one started at about $1,000, which didn't include a quad monitor stand, so that would be an additional cost on that, which was a bit more than I was looking to spend. So I did kind of find a solution that was in between. Unfortunately, it's not like you could just buy it directly from one manufacturer. I did kind of mix match two different manufacturers' components, but it did end up working out perfectly. There are a couple boxes that need to be checked in order for this to work, and luckily I was able to source the right parts at a somewhat reasonable price. It is still a little bit pricey, but I was able to get everything I was looking for and I needed to work with my setup. So what did I do to get this accomplished? Well, I picked out some parts from Track Racer. They do sell some components individually, and that was the add-on triple monitor arms and the add-on quad monitor mount. And the reason I picked those is because the VESA mounts they include go up to 400 by 400 bolt mounting pattern, and the triple 48-inch OLED monitors use 300 by 300, and most other options on the market only go up to 200 by 200. And that covers two of those mounting brackets since it's only the arms. So I still needed a third one for the center screen, which I got from the quad monitor mount. Since my quad monitor doesn't need the large VESA mounting bracket, I was able to drop that down to the center screen, and that allows me to mount all my triple 48-inch monitors and use a different bracket for the top monitor. Another reason I chose the Track Racer arms was because of the 90-degree brackets it came with. Most brackets don't give this much freedom of adjustment, and whether or not you'd use 90 degrees is probably pretty unlikely, but I like that that's an option with these. Now I needed the parts for the rest of the frame, and the reason I didn't go full Track Racer is because their monitor stands only go up to 45 inches, which is just a hair short of what I need. And actually those arms that came with the triple monitor add-on brackets were not going to be long enough for the 48-inch screens either. So that's where I ran into a local micro center, which I know most people aren't local to a micro center, but I believe now they just started shipping out Simracing parts. So I believe it is more of an accessible option now, at least in the States. I'm not sure about other countries, but if you were looking to build this similar setup, I'll give you the measurements of the components needed, because most monitor stands aren't long enough to accommodate 48-inch screens like this. That's where the Tony Kanaan monitor stands come in for Micro Center. They have triple and single monitor stands that use aluminum extrusion that's a little bit longer than most options on the market. For example, a Track Racer monitor stand, which accommodates larger screens than most monitor stands on the market at 45 inches, the center bar is only 47 inches long, and that is just a little bit too short to accommodate a 48-inch screen. With the Tony Kanaan stand, it's actually a 50-inch center bar, and that's a couple of extra inches is just the exact amount we needed to get a 48-inch setup to work. If getting a TK monitor mount is not an option for you, then the important measurements that you would need is that you'd want at minimum a 50-inch center bar, and for the sidebars at minimum about 25 inches. Although I would personally, if I was cutting my own, just give a little bit more than that. The TK racing feet that I'm using as monitor arms are about 33 inches. That's definitely more than I need, but it is nice having that extra space just in case. So what I did is I bought two single Tony Kanaan monitor stands and combined them with those two Track Racer accessory parts to build one quad monitor setup. And the reason I bought two single monitor stands is because I needed the center supports, and since the monitors stick out so far, I also needed support stands on the left and right as well. And that also gives me two extra feet And since those feet are so long, I can swap those with the track racer arms and use the track racer arms as feet and the Tone and Canon feet as arms to the monitor. Now, unfortunately, I already filmed this video about 2 or 3 times already, building it completely from scratch, and I ended up losing that footage, which really sucked. But in this video, I'll just kind of go over some of the key details, and because building it is pretty straightforward, probably not all that interesting to watch, but just I'll go over the things showcasing how I did it, so you'll know exactly how you want to do it if you would like to do this same setup yourself. The total cost of this setup ended up coming out to $617 before tax, which puts us at about half the cost of what it would have cost if I had gone with Advanced Simracing's quad monitor stand that could fit these, and just about $220 more than the non-extruded aluminum triple monitor stand from Next Level Racing. Now, the only real issue we run into is that both the 90-degree brackets that come with the Track Racer and the TK Racing has these little alignment tabs. The reason that these are a problem is that the center support arms cross over with the center bar, which means those tabs don't allow the bracket to sit flush. So what I did is I had these 90-degree brackets left over from my rig metal rig, and these ones have tabs that are easily breakable with a flathead screwdriver. But otherwise, if you have a grinder, you could just grind down the tabs really easily, or you could order these directly from rig metal for 22 bucks. The reason the center support bars have to be mounted this way is to give clearance to the side angle brackets. The outer arms don't need to be mounted this way since they can be mounted at the end of the aluminum extruded arm. Therefore, the tabs don't interfere with anything, and you can just mount it normally. So just to reiterate here, the Track Racer arms are being used as the outer feet for the outer supports, which works out really nicely because they're a lot shorter than the TK Racing feet, which means less likely to trip, and we don't need a huge amount of support on the outer feet. And then we're using those extra TK Racing feet from that secondary single monitor stand for the monitor arms to hold the outer monitors. Now, these brackets do allow easy leveling adjustment horizontally, but not vertically. So if you find that your monitor is leaning too far forward on the top, you can level it out by putting a washer in between the bottom mounting holes for the VESA bracket, and that'll just straighten it out just a little bit. When setting the height of the monitors, the most important measurement is that the center of the screen is in line with your eyesight when sitting down in your rig. And the reason that's important is so the images from screen to screen mesh together properly to look even and seamless. That sweet spot is pretty small, so that's why it's very important to get this measurement correct. Since I stole the Track Racer monitor mount from the quad monitor mount that goes on top, I'm swapping that with one of the monitor brackets from the TK Racing one that does 200 by 200 VESA, and using the larger 400 by 400 VESA for the 48-inch screen. Well, that's pretty much it for the important details. Everything else, you can pretty much just follow the manuals. The rest of that is just pretty straightforward. Well, I hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, then go ahead and leave a thumbs up on the video. Greatly appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see some more sim racing content. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. And of course, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.